Jesus began to reproach the towns where most of his mighty deeds had been done, since they had not repented. Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethsaida! For if the mighty deeds done in your midst had been done in Tyre and Sidon, they would long ago have repented in sackcloth and ashes. But I tell you, it will be more tolerable for Tyre and Sidon on the day of judgment than for you. And, and as for you, Capernaum, will you be exalted to heaven? You will go down to the nether world. For if the mighty deeds done in your midst had been done in Sodom, it would have remained until this day. But I tell you, it will be more tolerable for the land of Sodom on the day of judgment than for you. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Good morning. Today, with the book of Exodus, we start one of the signs of God for salvation of his people in Egypt, the story of Moses. As you remember, Moses later in his life will be the man to take out the people of Israel from the oppression of the Egyptians. And reviewing the life of Moses, the beginning and how he needs to escape, there are some spiritual elements that we need to catch in there. One of those, it is the way that he is discovered. He is in a little, how do they call that? A basket in the river. And it seems like, for example, the sacrament of baptism. It is the water bringing the salvation that God is sending. In your case, your baptism for yourself. In the case of the Israelites, it is Moses that it is discovered. It is sent out of necessity, because it says the parents of Moses, they were not able to handle properly for him. So they decided to put him in that basket and check what happens to the kid, right? Imagine the level of necessity to do something like that to one of your sons. Now, in the blessings of God, what could have been the luck, we can call it like that, of Moses? Well, in that land, for example, you are surrounded by crocodiles. It could have been the diet of one of those animals. Or maybe it could have been that one of the neighbors finds the kid right away and that's it. But instead of that, it is not a lack of preparation from God. But out of that misery, God is able to bring the blessing that will come later. After that story of being found and being nursed and being adopted by the daughter of the Pharaoh, he realizes, maybe it is the way he looks, that he doesn't belong to the culture of the Egyptians, but he's able to see, I'm related to the Israelites. So he assumes the protection of them, even without the message of God telling him to go and set them free. So happens a crime in there. He sees one of the Egyptians that it is being too hard on one of the Israelites. So he decides to take the justice to his hand. He kills the man, hides the man in the sand. But as the things of God they are, he is discovered and he is afraid. So the beginning of that story, it is even the miseries of Moses. Who are you? Who has set you as a ruler for all of us? Are you going to kill us like you did with the other man the other day? He is discovered in his misery. So in the need of saving his life, he escapes. And you will know later the story of Moses. He will go work in other lands. He will be called by God. He will come now with the power to set them free. That will be the story that we will hear over this week. But what are the elements that we can catch in that? I would say to pay attention especially to the word that it is repeated in the gospel, because it is united with the first reading in that, and it is the repentance. Moses felt, I did wrong, I'm afraid for my life, I need to escape, I'm sorry for all my things. You see, in the words of the gospel today, the Lord is reclaiming, telling, If the miracles that I have done in these other cities, in your cities, have been done with these towns, they would have repented. They would have changed. And it is a personal review. It is not a story to handle like, ooh, horrible people from the Old Testament or horrible people from 2,000 years ago. No, the word, it becomes alive when it goes to your ears. And it is to measure what is also my level of repentance. Or am I getting accustomed to my things and later I'll go to confession, right? Because I can make it, right? No, confession works if you are really sorry, if you are really fighting the things that you are telling in the case of our Catholic life. So Jesus is inviting to that, to pay attention so that with the repentance, you are able to fight with the graces of God the things that you need to get better in this life. And it is not impossible. It is not a gospel to be fearful, like, oh, never gonna make it, heading to condemnation. No, we don't follow God out of fear. We follow God knowing that He loved us to the extreme, but He is also in justice. If He is expecting from us things that we are able to do or we are able to go to those levels, well, we are family of God, so let us raise and go to the expectations of God.